Hey there, Shrine Runners! Hello, and welcome to the Fox Shrine. I'm your host, Araxis, and tonight we're going to be playing some more of the Great Ace Attorney. And I've just been playing some Melty Blood. The newest one just came out, and I was just playing some online with friends, and my thumb is killing me, even though I was only playing for about 2 hours or something like that. I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to fighting games, at least in terms of skin strength or something like that. It's going to be a blister on that in the morning or something. Anyway, just have to keep that in mind and forgive me if I do end up sort of cutting the stream short or anything like that. I've already been playing a lot of games today. Aside from that, I've also been doing some grinding in Fate Grand Order for the raid boss. I'm trying to get enough eggs from that for Space Ishtar, because she needs eggs for her skill level ups. And I think I've got everything else, but yeah, I'm gonna need them eggs. uh, how are you, Netta and Kuro? You're doing all right? I am too allowed a life outside of streams, as long as it's not actually outside of my house. I want to stay there. But yeah, Melty Blood is a lot of fun. If you've played the other Melty Blood games, you'll probably be able to get straight into it. I do recommend it. It's yeah, they're great games, and the new ones are quite fast. And yeah, I'm playing as Kohaku in that one, who is one of the maids, and her playstyle is a lot of fun. I mean, everyone's going to say that new one needs more characters, and to be fair, I do understand, especially if one of your mains was one of the characters who got left off. And there is definitely an issue with the fighting game scene, where they'll sort of parcel off characters as DLC, and that can add up a lot, unfortunately. So hopefully that's not the case with this one, because it's no fun when your character's the one that you have to sort of pay extra for, or if you sort of want to give more characters a go. Again, that's something that is an issue. Hopefully, if they do release DLC characters, they'll at least let you use them in training so that you can try them out. But ideally, yeah, she's not in it, unfortunately. Reef Spife Stridberg. I do like her a lot. She wasn't one of my mains, possibly a tertiary at best, but yeah, I liked her, and I'm sad that she's not there. Also sad that Sion isn't there, or White Glen, and I think I was also a fan of Red Akiha. I think she was the one that I sort of liked the most. I had to sort of get used to the new Akiha and how she plays. But Kohaku's in it, and Kohaku is the best, and I am glad that she has made a return. Anyway, enough about my day. Let's get into Ace Attorney, shall we? All right. Now, as per usual, do let me know if there are any issues. There shouldn't be. The Nekos are cute, but they're joke characters, so who knows what they're going to do with them. Alright. Yeah, we were about to meet up with Suzuka, our assistant. Yes. No matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow. Do you think the place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that suit of armor over there. Can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks the same about you. So, everything is clear with regards to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust. Yes, thank you very much. Saber, best Yukihime character. Yeah, Saber from Nitro Blasters, right? There they are. Susato and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There is nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what did he just say? Your return to your homeland? Susato-san! Oh! Mr. Naruhodo. What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's this all about? Why were you talking about Miss Susato's return to her homeland? And tomorrow? Tomorrow? What about Guinea's trial? You mean she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. Hey Nagorius, how are you? These Giant Suits Farmer are still facing each other menacingly across the room. I just can't understand why anyone would wear things like that in battle. They must be so heavy. I expect you'd invent some special lightweight suit if it was down to you, wouldn't you, Iris? I think if it was me, I'd invent a world where people didn't need to fight each other in the first place. Oh, that's so cute. I'm taking her home. I'm taking Iris home with me. Iris, you're a champion. Well, what do you think? That was a model answer, wasn't it? She's 10, Yunosuke. 10. And she's leading you around by the nose. Was that easy? It still wouldn't work. Oh my goodness! Just look at all these books! New Colonel Sanders. Saving the world with chicken. Yes. There are books about the judicial systems of all different Western nations. Even for someone like me, it would take at least 10 days to read all of these. Just 10 days? Oh, I was only joking, Bruno. I thought it would be fun to play up my genius. Scarily believable with you. That's the trouble. Anything over here? Nope. A chair! Oh, I've always dreamt of sitting at a huge desk like that and looking important. Why don't you try it then? Just discreetly, of course. All right, I will. Tell me how I look. Well, Bruno, what do you think? A little too discreet. I can't even see you. Uh... Oh, I love clocks and their mechanisms, don't you? Ah, the way all the hundreds of pieces fit together and work as one to move the hands of a single timepiece. Yes. I can imagine clocks are just your cup of tea. When I was little, I used to dream of one day living inside a clock, you know? And you must be envious of the Lord Chief Justice having his office in a place like this, I suppose. No, not really. Oh. Well, I mean, that's a dream for when you're little. It'd be silly now. Let Lord Strongheart hear you talking like that. Okay. I think we've had a look at everything. Unless the gears. No, all good. Means a great deal to me, you know. Yeah. Yeah, same dialogue. I thought it might be different because of the situation. What if I present this to you? So, about this. Wait! I must have more time to examine it thoroughly. Really, there's no need. If it's not relevant at the moment, you can just say so. Susato-san takes everything so seriously. Alright, let's have a chat and find out what's going on, shall we? Miss Susato, what's all this about? Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue just as it has. That's not what I asked. Oh, what happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba? If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown, and it seems he grows weaker day by day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Miss Susato's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. Can't believe this is happening. So Gina has been charged? She'll have to appear in court? Yes. She was formally charged a few hours ago, and the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No! Not even 24 hours later? Gina. The Lestrade girl, and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker, yes. An all too transpicious case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the yard is overstretched as it is, without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Giddy would never do something like that. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart? In deference of your fine services to date, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence. But I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave now. Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. It's no concern of yours, though I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me. There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart, which is... it's Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her?" A timely suggestion. Sorry? The girl currently has no representation. But that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork, and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right. Yep, you remember from last time she refused to sign any papers because she doesn't trust adults. Why would she do that? You know why. A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Yes, thank you. Now then, it's time I was leaving. Good day to you. What a day. Gina charged with murder, Zato-san about to leave, Canadian pawnbroker dead and not at his own hand. Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Iris, we must make haste. But, Susie, you're leaving for Japan tomorrow morning, aren't you? Don't you have packing and things to do? As Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. My sole purpose remains to help you in whatever way I can. Thank you, Miss Susato. Hey Marshall, welcome. How are you going? I was just playing some Melty Blood off stream, and my thumb's killing me. How are you? That's a very pensive look. I think we ought to visit Gina first. Day off's important. I'm having a day off tomorrow myself. I'd be happy to play with you. Do you have a main already in Melty Blood? Mine's Kohaku, she's great. I love her. In any case, I should like to wish her well before I leave. Hmm, yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go. Ah, Kishima. Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't call myself well-versed either. Like, I mostly just sort of played a few games with friends here and there, played some of the story. But Kohaku's my favorite. Kishima's annoying. He's got this sort of like fire aura thing that's pretty good at cancelling moves. If I'm honest, this has completely thrown me off. I'll just have to do what I can as a lawyer. Damn straight. It does have rollback netcode, yes. I was actually playing some games with someone from France, and things were working pretty good. It's prominently advertised on the store page that Melty Blood type Lumina has rollback netcode. This place is so much fun. I'm just itching to dismantle that huge clock. Pearlie's in good hands. Love attics. They're exciting. Alright, so we gotta go to the prison and visit Ginny now. Hopefully we can get her to sign off on the papers. Okay, I've never actually played Guilty Gear, so I can't really comment on that. Although I do like BlazBlue. BlazBlue is a fun game. Again, never sort of played hard out or anything, just a few games with the story, just with the a few games with friends. But BlazBlue is a lot of fun. In that, my mains were Nu and Lambda. Probably seeing a bit of a theme going on there. Hey Drago, how are you going? Ah, hello again, Gina. Again, they let you keep that. What are you lot here for now? To have the muzzle of that grenade launcher shoved in our faces yet again, obviously. I think I need to improve the way you load ammunition into that thing, don't I? The green edgelord with the knife. That would be Hazama, I believe. I think it was Hazama Terumi or something like that. Hooded version. Was there a hooded version? That might be in one of the later games. I don't think I've played the one where he's got a hood. I've only played the one where he's in like a suit and a hat. Oh no. Gotta get a new mouse. That's a shame. The mouse that I'm using is the Logitech G900. And that's been a pretty good one. I like that. A bit on the pricey side, I will admit. But it feels really good. And it's got some good sort of customization on some of the side buttons as well. But yeah, I liked a Nu and Lambda, the Mecha Musume girls. Look, you can come here as many times as you like, but I ain't got nothing more to say to you. Gina. There are a fair few Logitech mice like that, if I'm not mistaken. Like a lot. You might have to sort of look around a little bit more. But there's definitely some wired ones with two buttons, a wheel. The one I've got's a combination wired wireless, so I can unplug it from the cord, but I can also plug it in with the cord. So that's been quite nice. Edgelords, cultured muscle men, or girls in traditional Chinese dresses. Kuhaku in Melty Blood actually has a Chinese dress as her astral chain attack, if I'm not mistaken. I generally go for the characters that let me zone the enemy in some way and sort of fuck around with them. I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say. What? I'm sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell. Eh? Farewell? Tomorrow, I must begin my journey back home. To Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh! Right. Nickelodeon All-Stars. Is that like Super Smash Brothers? Except Nickelodeon? I can't say I'm too familiar with that, aside from being able to describe it like that. Oh cool, I was right. I have had the pleasure of meeting so many lovely people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. Nagoriyuki. Giant vampire samurai dude. Okay, cool. Now I'm not familiar with the Guilty Gear characters, so I don't know if these characters would suit me or not. But if I were to ever play Guilty Gear, I was thinking of starting with either Dizzy, or who's that? Who's that maid with the gun who's always like try to marry everyone? Was it Valentine? That might be someone else. By the way, she seemed like she might be up my alley at least. Hold on, I'm seeing a bit of a theme here. Maids. It was like a maid wedding dress or something. Elfelt. Ah, they're not in the new one. Ah, damn it. Yet. Yeah, because as I was sort of talking about this before, fighting games like the Parcel Away characters and DLC to charge you more, and if your character's that one, then you got to pay more, and if you want to sort of try out new characters, then you got to pay more, and it's a rough spot, unfortunately. And yet, as things stand now, it will be a glum parting indeed. Poor Iris, so miserable. Susie. The Turtles, April O'Neil, SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Helga, and Danny Phantom. Do they have Zim or Gur at all? Yeah, like there is that argument to make. That like now you can add on to an existing game, certainly. But I suppose the other argument you could make is that previously, like, you'd know that those are all the characters that will be there, so you won't sort of have to pay extra. Like, you know that the game is feature complete. Ah, cool, Invader Zim is in it. Nice. Powdered Toast Man! Well, my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruhodo believe you to be innocent, Gina. They've put their faith in you. But somehow, you can't find it in your heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right. I can't. What of it? Oh, Nigel Thornberry. Everything normal. Yeah. Kippers for breakfast. It grieves me greatly to have to say goodbye to my friends when they are so clearly unhappy. Because of you. What? It's my fault? Yes. So, I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Right here and now, I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith they've invested in you. Eh? Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. One of his moves is, no, this is Patrick! Nice. I am not a Krusty Krab. Does he have spiders? I imagine that would be just sort of crushing them with his house rock. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, huh? You've told us that everyone lies. So, prove it by admitting one of your own untruths. Slams down the phone to deal damage. Nice. I'm just hoping that he's got the move spiders or something like that, where he sort of crushes them with a rock. What about what you said before, Guinea? You said something about unforgivable lies. You must tell Mr. Naruhodo and Iris the truth now. Ah, that's a shame. That is my last request before I leave. My last request as a judicial assistant. See, I quite like Susato. She always sort of like looks really polite and all that, and usually sort of acts as such. But she can, she is not afraid to go hard on the offense with other people, while maintaining her sort of really polite demeanor. No, I can't. Well, she's not a shrine maiden. She's just wearing a kimono. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. Gina, I could be wrong, but is it something to do with what happened 2 months ago? Something about that trial? Possibly the red bottom might be doing that. Yeah, Susato was literally just being Japanese. That is completely true. Being a true Yamato Nadeshiko. And making sure not to forget the silk hiding steel. The one in which Magnus McGilded was acquitted? Ah! The case of that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were called as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. 'Cause in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe. will you tell us about it now? Let me show her this. Nota. Wasn't saying you could have... Yeah. Okay. Let's have a talk about what happened 2 months ago, shall we? Like you said, it all happened 2 months ago. Coppers got hold of me and shoved me in the witness stand. And based on your testimony, Mr. McGilded was declared innocent. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of stuff. I knew it. What sort of thing did you lie about? I was hiding under the seat that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in that little cubbyhole. I couldn't see a thing. And then I heard that loud thud, like someone falling on the floor. And that's when Mr. McGilded discovered you? Yeah. He pulled me out from under the seat and sat me next to the dead man. Weren't much like to see by, but when I looked at me hands, I had the cove's blood all over him. I was so scared I couldn't even speak. You had his blood on your hands? In other words, it was Gina that the witnesses on the roof deck saw through the skylight. Then Mr. McGilded started asking you questions, I suppose? Who you were, and why you were hiding under the seat. Yeah, he did. Only, that's not all. What do you mean? I mean, he threatened me. Threatened you how? He made me swear about what I'd seen and what I'd heard. And about what he was going to do about the cove was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me scarper before coppers showed up. Gina, you must tell me what he swore you to secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard, everything. Let's see what's going on here. You said McGilded made you swear not to tell anybody what you saw. But you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you? Yes. With Mr. McGilded sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Hold on a second. So she's coming clean now about what's going on. And she's saying that she was hiding in that compartment, okay? Now, when we looked at that carriage, that compartment was full of like bits and bobs. So everyone basically sort of agreed no one could sort of fit in there. Then later on, the coach got altered so that there were new sort of like blood stains, and all the stuff inside was removed so that she could claim that she was inside. And she's coming clean with us now, and she's saying that she was still in there. So in that case, why would there have been all those tools in there? Alright. Yeah, that's true, but It was when I heard the thud of the cove hitting the floor. I let out a little scream, see? Couldn't help it. Matilda heard that and dragged me out by my arm. And that's when I saw it. It was on the floor next to the old geezer what had been stabbed. A disc. All bright and shiny. A disc? Those music discs! Do you mean... yeah, that's it. Well, what the D took off me at Windybanks. So the music box disc was there on the floor of the omnibus. Not for long. Gilded spotted it straight away. He picked it up smartish and stuffed it in his inside pocket. So that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago at the scene of Mr. Mason's murder. And the bog trotter told me I weren't to mutter a word of it to no one. Okay. Because it was so dark under that seat in the cab, I was straining my ears the whole time. After a while, I heard the door and footsteps inside the cabin. Presumably, that was McGilded getting on board. Nah, not only him. I'm thinking that might have been Strongheart. Oh, was I could definitely make out the footsteps of 2 people. In that case, it seemed likely that it was Mr. McGilded and the victim, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. Could be, but they're still sort of on that idea that Strongheart is the M for that knife. Although, given McGilded is sus as hell, maybe he did stab him after all. In his testimony during the trial, Mr. McGilded claimed he slept during the carriage ride. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and always succumb to it. And your own testimony, Gina, supported his. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah, that weren't exactly true. Neither of them was asleep. I could hear them talking the whole time, in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry. I don't know. The sound of the horses and the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGilded and the victim knew each other. Well, we do know that already. McGilded had a loan with McGilded. So McGilded was lying, as I suspected. After the event. I knew it wasn't going to take long before someone raised the alarm that the bloke had been killed. Yes, you were quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So, when the cab came to a stop, McGilded told me to hide back under the seat again. I climbed in and waited. The 2 co-strom up top ran off to get the coppers. Yes, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right. And after that gone, McGilded asked the driver to do him a favor. A favor? Now then, fella, what I need you to do is take this coat of mine and deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your troubles, let's see now. Hey, I'll give you 10 guineas. Nearby pawnbroker? You mean on Baker Street? You got it. It was Windybanks. Croce snapped up the money and ran after this coat as fast as he could. So then there was no one left in the carriage. McGilded opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there, but not without conditions. I see. What were McGild's conditions then? What's the weirdest conversation piece I have in my room? Let me think. Got a whole bunch of anime figures. I've got a stuffed toy from childhood. A whole bunch of board games, a bunch of old games and DVDs, tabletop RPG books. What's the weirdest? God damn. I'm not sure, to be honest. Possibly the stuffed toy? Like it is really old and ragged and all that. Oh, no, not Borat games. Board games. Yeah, memories definitely are like that. I can just retrieve them actually. Like was sort of like in sort of like an under the stairs compartment sort of thing, and then I had to sort of like clear out underneath there, and I sort of found him again. I was like, I can't just throw him away. I can't. It's tricky. Board games aren't weird. I don't think the board games are weird at all. Like, I have 10 shelf compartments filled with board games. Okay. What were McGilded's conditions then? What would be, what about the rest of you? I can't be the only one to answer. Well, letting you go free, I mean. Not telling a soul. Not for anything. About what I saw and what I heard. 3 alcohol bottles Rex was collecting. USSR pilot helmet. Ooh. Nice. That's interesting. Okay. So it's probably like the most distinct figures that I've got. And by distinct, I suppose I mean largest. Would be a Dark Angel Olivia, a Rachel Alucard, a Kaleido Ruby, a Moated Caressa Saber, and Ishtar from Fate Grand Order, and a Diva from Overwatch. That one is ridiculously heavy, by the way. I ended up accidentally damaging the stand a little bit when I was sort of like moving because it is just so damn huge, and I sort of stumbled on the way and scratched up the base a little bit. Which is unfortunate, but not too bad. Just looks like battle damage. And there was something else as well. There's more? Hmm, yeah. This is the most important thing, he said. Hmm. I'm, I'm after sending the coachman on a little errand for me, with some small change in his hand. Now then, hmm, did you hear what I asked of him? Hmm. Did you see anything at all, at all? Hmm. You asked him to go pop your weasel, right? I. The fiend's taken me overcoat to deposit it with a pawnbroker hereabouts. Hmm. I want you, lass, to take the redemption ticket for it. You understand? 2 Raido Kuzaha figures, 4 Cosmos, and based on Shiro Masamune's work. Okay. I've got a Cosmos. Where are you? I think you're on my 3rd shelf. Yeah. I've got a Cosmos on my 3rd shelf. What? Want me to have the ticket? Yeah. Remind me after the stream. I'll send you a photo. I think it might be from Xenosaga 2. I'm not certain. That's right. I'll come fetch it from you later. Sometime within the next 2 months. Better hang on to it until then. Is that clear? And whatever you do, don't lose it. All right then. And in case I might happen to be delayed at all, you have to go to the pawn shop, Windy Banks, so it is, and you have to extend the loan before the 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited, and any old fiend could come along and buy it. Yeah, but I ain't got that kind of brass. Here's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try anything funny now. If you go against me... yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. In a few days from now, you'll be visited by the police, I have no doubt. The coppers. Aye. They'll come asking you to take the stand in court to testify as a witness. So, let's just have a wee chat about that, shall we? What it is that you might say, and what it is that you won't. After we'd gone over it all, I piked it. I was as far away from there as I could. He hid the pawnbroker's ticket in some bushes near the scene. I went to fetch it the next day once it got dark. So McGill planned it and coerced Gina into giving false testimony. Bet you're ready to string me up, huh? I lied. That big old courtroom. I told some corkers. Thing is, he said he would make it so he couldn't live in the East End no more. That's what he threatened me with. What? A wicked man! He knew everything what went on in back slums. He knew we had no one to look after us. And he was all just looking out for each other, getting by together. So you mean Mr. McGilded would have... In an heartbeat, he could have had the lot of us chased out of there if he wanted. And then where could we have gone, eh? Nowhere. That's where. So, I didn't have no choice. Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything. But I'm for it now, eh? Go on, admit it. You must be livid. Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor. A favor? What? Welcome home, Ada. Sign the representation papers for tomorrow's trial. Eh? If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it up later. But we need that paperwork, or we can't investigate. The police won't let us. Investigate what? The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see. You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Guinea. Is it bad? Is he gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright, right? That's why I want to investigate. For Mr. Sholmes' sake, as much as anything. Right. So, what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy, is that it? Something like that. Miss Susato? Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. I don't need no one to stick up for me, though. No lawyer or nothing. Oh, Guinea. You seem so lonely. Alright, and we've got the representation papers. Putting us in charge of her defense, and will give us access to the crime scene. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene at Windybanks now. Yep. Give us access. I, the undersigned, agree to legal representation by the lawyer named hereunder in regard to the following incident. Gina Lestrade, allegedly murder of Baker Street pawnbroker, date of trial 17th of April, 10 a.m. Attorney-in-law, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Yes. And perhaps we can come back to visit Guinea when we're done there? I feel like we finally cracked Gina. She's opened up to us at last. And now I have her representation papers. No one else knows just what a responsibility that is. Anyway, but now means Inspector Gregson can't stop us investigating at Windybanks. Although, something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. Gotta be with Iris at least. To be continued. Alright, I'll save our progress. Over here. Investigation Part 4. Okay, 16th April, 1:26 p.m. The Windybanks Pawnbrokery. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Now, thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What is it then? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Your ladyship! Ow! Oh, I don't believe it! How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign that? I salute you! That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Ah, lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes, yes. Oh, I hardly feel tired at all. It is a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be all right if we investigated the scene of the crime then? Do as you please. You know where it happened. Through that door behind the counter. Through that door behind the counter. Yes, the storeroom. That's there I discovered Mr. Windybank and Gina. Right. Well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. I do like the fish and chips. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taken forever, even with the lads working around the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case the Yard needs to investigate urgently. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. He does crush them a little bit sometimes. So, what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Come then. Let's us not waste any time. Alright. So these bobbies over here were investigating some stuff of their own, so let's have a look around, shall we? Ah, look here. Wow. That's not just a bullet hole. Looks like the bullet went straight into it. That would be a different bullet from the one that hit Herlock, though. Because, like, they had to, the bullet got lodged in him and they had to do surgery to extract it, if I recall right. Bullet hole, and I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Presumably, Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. Well? Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Sorry? It's all there in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Oh, did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that for now, Bruno. Let's examine this bullet. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. What? There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Bruno? I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see? When it comes to blood, they're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So, you need this. Oh no. What is that scary looking thing? Holly and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch. Luminol. Oh, the color of the bloodstains has changed. There. Does it make sense now? Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes. How wonderful. Ooh. We're gonna do blood types, are we? Like A, B, and O. And I'm guessing, like, your special substance causes it to change different colors based on what blood type they are. I remember, like, this was important in... what was it? Kara no Shoujo, I think? Like, maybe the second one, there was like some importance to do with blood type. And like at the time, all they could sort of do with investigations was like determine... they couldn't do DNA tests, but they could determine whether it was like A, B, or whatever, so that they could sort of like narrow it down a little bit. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color. So, you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great. So, whose blood are we looking at then? I don't know. Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different color, so... just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to, in a flash. It's more like 2 flashes, really, isn't it? 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So, we must make a note of it in the court record. Blood sample has been entered into the court record. Different people's bloods turn different colors. Okay. Alright. Unknown, color green. A sample of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Shawms. Yep, different people's bloods turn different colors. Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have reagent left, sure. Okay. More to say here, huh? Okay, green blood. Just seems wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colours. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what colour my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. I would be curious to know. Fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Yeah, here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. Oh yes! That's a folding stereoscope! Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Shawms showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that, he used the great big contraption over there. Ah, well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints that you can use in them. I have a little collection myself. I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. Mr. Sparkle! Mr. Sparkle! Okay, let's have a look at the regular stereoscope. Now, this is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. Makes you think. When Mr. Shawms gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Okay. These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yes. It's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example? Honestly, you'd be surprised what people would buy. Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know? Are you alright, Bruno? Oh, it's just... Well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue. That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever. Mm-hmm. You will often have people walk into pawnbrokers and, like, just intending to window shop, and they'll end up walking away with some random trinket here and there. Just because you'll find weird stuff in there sometimes. Or maybe you'll get really lucky and find something you were sort of really holding out hope for. Like rare video games, for example. You can sometimes find them in pawnbrokers. Not often, but that's the way it is. You can sometimes find good stuff. Okay. So, anything else around here? How about you? That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Bruno? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes. But it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Gregsy to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. Iris has a lot of power. Okay. Let's have a look around here now. Now there's the article ledger there, here, and Mr. Windybank's notes, and... What's this? Looks as though someone has left a little photographic print behind. Oh! Look on the back! There's some writing. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie! Show us! 15th February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, £1 gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1? Clearly it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes! This must be the ticket for the overcoat that Guinea redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing. Which belonged to Miss McGilded. Never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Windybank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have at hand. But this photograph of a cat looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh! Yes, you're right! Very recently. It's the same as the one Guinea gave us earlier. Of course. I was forgetting that she gave us that print. Well, what are you waiting for then, Mr. Naruhodo? Get it out! Alright, let the cogs turn. Yes, they are exactly the same. Are they? It could just be my eyes playing tricks on me, but it looks like the cat is looking slightly more centered in the rightmost picture. than the leftmost picture. Like, are you able to sort of see my mouse cursor or anything? I don't know. But like, it looks like there's less space. Like if you look at the yeah. Okay, cool. You're all able to sort of see that as well. Okay. And the shadow was slightly different too. Okay. Try crossing your eyes and it will look 3D. Oh god, this is going to be a stereoscope sort of thing, isn't it? That's why they freaking included those. Okay. I've got it. These two photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes! We need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. Okay, so we get to converse with her now. Yeah, that edge of that open on the counter there is really enormous, isn't it? Must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head, if you ask me. But clearly Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to articles in his care. This isn't going to make us go in there, is it? Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said. Yes. And that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Mr. Windybank, face down on the floor, with Gina beside him. As the accused's legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. Hey, Rel. Hey, Chicken. Welcome. Hope you're all doing okay. I feel like there's a business meeting in my head every time I try to come up with Twitter shit posts. So I'm just picturing, like, if you've seen it, like, Katarina Claes, from I'm the Villainous and All Roads Lead to Doom, with her sort of like business meetings in her head. That's what I'm sort of imagining. Tab over from lurk and see a child with a gun. It's alright, she probably didn't shoot him. We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course. And we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime. Don't worry. If there are any clues in there, I'll find them. Yeah, we're defending her. Oh, that the SpongeBob episode. I can picture that as well. Forget everything except for fine dining. And breathing? Yes, and breathing. Fine dining and breathing. Okay, so we can converse with her about the pair of photographs. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know. I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, for sure. Even if I didn't intend to. It's not quite a gun. She uses it for shooting luminol, or at least some version of it. It makes blood change color. And yeah, it was different times. Poor Guinea. This is all my fault, really. She'll be alright, won't she? In court tomorrow, I mean. I'll defend her with everything I've got. So, she'll be alright, won't she? Am I that bad at instilling confidence? Do you mind if I showed you this, Iris? Just a boring old thing. Yeah, she's not interested in boring stuff. Okay. Let's have a chat about these photographs, shall we? So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Windybank's counter, and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret that you mentioned that's hidden between these two identical prints? Which I don't think are identical. Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry? If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They're not? Gee, who would have thought? Have another look at them now. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? I think so. It's very subtle, though. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Ah, well, it's because they're a set, you see? No, I don't. Oh, this pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Mm-hmm. Exactly what we're sort of talking about, like you saying you can get them cross-eyed, have them look 3D. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Ah, a stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? Oh, yes! That's what Mr. Sholmes showed us yesterday. You see? There it is, just over there. Yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions. Just gotta make your eyes cross-eyed. What? Really? Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No. I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be able to tell you. Oh, she's over the moon, bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on investigating the scene. I, for one, simply have to know. Alright, I'm gonna quickly go grab a drink, and we'll get back into how stereoscopic prints work, okay? So give me a second, I'll be right back. Alright. So, how stereoscopic prints work? Have you ever considered, Runo, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just opened them and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes. Shocking. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away. What you see with your left eye and what you see with your right eye are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly. And in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. Ah, Bear! Hello! Melty Blood friend. Guess you continued playing for a while, did ya? How was the rest of the stream? Did you just continue playing Versus with Nova, or did you play some of the story? Played a bunch with Nova, then some arcade clears. Okay. So who's the who do they have for the boss? Is it like a different person each time that they just sort of amp up, or do they have like some sort of like Dust of Osiris sort of bullshit? Two clears you did. Right. Like Volve Archangel or whatever. Yep, gotcha. Okay. Like, he did seem like he could have some attacks that could be quite annoying, from what little I saw of him. Like, could just be similar to how Nu in Blaze Blue was the boss. Though they had like an unlimited version of her. Unga. Alright, yep, Unga Bunga. Usually a good strat. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. My brain really is amazing, isn't it? Does so much without telling me. I think I see. So the pair of photographs consist of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So, if you could persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'd be able to see depth in these prints? Yes, Runo, you're beginning to understand. And a stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that? Yes, but... I'm gonna have a right or laugh if they managed to get that wrong. As long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself, without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Tell me more! Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. I suppose I should probably introduce myself as well. I'm Araxis Denacia, your revolutionary bartender, and we're playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Yeah, introduction. Have fun. We also play Library of Ruiner, and Mass Effect. So, if you like that stuff, give me a follow if you want. No obligations. Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Yeah, totally guest starring on your stream earlier. Not like I said much. I mostly just played as Kohaku and cheese the shit out of people because Kohaku's a cheesy character. Fun! I really like Kohaku. You might know me from other streams such as Commissar Bear's stream of Melty Blood earlier this night. I didn't kick all the ass. I think I did fairly well. Cheese is the only way that you can play fighting games. I know enough to get by. Old man cripple hands. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go. Lizardo-san really loves this kind of thing. You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I think I can. Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Yeah, you do actually have to know what you're doing. Fighting games are like playing speed chess on crack. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? There! How's that? Wonderful! Now it's your turn, Runo. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed. Alright, that's enough practice. Now, let's try it looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly cross your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Bruno. I'm just gonna have to give it a try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Now, the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then to try crossing your eyes again. The prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center. Oh, yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day. I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Bruno. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Never been good at this, to be honest. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. Like this, is it? There, you managed it. Try looking as you're looking at something behind the screen, don't focus on it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. Avoiding the struggles why they made stereoscopes to begin with. So, what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Bruno? Well, they're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No. Some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. There she goes. She's reading chat, apparently. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here, then set the pair of photographs in this stand at the back, and... It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Make sure the pictures you add are of the same thing. Close to the same thing. They've got to be a set. Stereoscopic pictures. Never even heard of them until yesterday. I've certainly learned a lot about them. But I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. Well, the game did just spend, what, 10 minutes now, and like 10 minutes in a previous investigation scene, just sort of talking about them. Nah, it'll never come up. Not important. Red herring. Okay, another white cat photograph has been added. So this is the second of the two photographic prints of the cat. And it really does look like Wagahai. It's exactly the same as the first photograph at first glance. I suppose that's what's so compelling. Actually, now we have both pictures, I can have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. Cross your eyes and try to get the two cats to merge in the middle as one. Such a hard thing to do. Whoever thought of this in the first place must have spent a long time staring. I've never been good at those magic eye puzzles. And yeah, we've can we put our luminol thing on this? I want to put our luminol thing on this. Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. Yeah. You are right, this was originally a 3DS game. I have noticed. The red smear, you mean? Yes. Looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susato-san picked up on that. Well, in that case... Yes! We need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. Alright. Yep, we'll make sure to do that so that we can find out what color this finger mark is. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday. Yes. Having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilded 2 months earlier. An article deposited, one gentleman's overcoat. Ah, cool, Zim is in Nick All-Stars. Nice. But is Gur. And the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of that coat. Yes. Oh, that's a mistake there. That full stop doesn't have a capital letter after it. for a small box deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident. Where's Sancho? Sancho! You were responsible for this bullshit, weren't you? You're fired! Could that have anything to do with all this? Okay. I'm assuming this is just going to be the same. Yep. Yep. Show this to Iris. Nothing more to converse there. Hornbrook box and coat. Okay. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me. Alright, so I've got purple blood this time. Look at that. Yes, that's a colour we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colours correspond to at some point. Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh! You've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? No idea. How could I? You don't have a known sample of the same colour. Without it, it's impossible to know. Actually, that would be... that should be Thingo from the, from the third case, actually. We should go back to that. Oh, how very vexing. I wonder, what? Well, it's true that the colour doesn't help us, but what about considering how the mark came to be there in the first place? You might have an idea about that, mightn't you, Runo? Reptar, Drago? Would it be Reptar? Not if you keep staring at me like that, no. Let's try that again, shall we? Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh! You've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Yes. I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the colour it turned, but with a little deduction. Ah, cool. I guessed correctly. That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well? You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that this is the blood of Thrice-Fired Mason. Yep, no problem, Marshall. Have a good day. Thrice-Fired Mason? You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I've never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Okay. Maybe Gers got some moves with Zim. Yes. His name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windy Banks yesterday. I am suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. So, it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. Now I ask yous, who's got good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. I mean, it certainly does look like a leather-gloved thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Bruno. Very well. Let's make a note of this. Alright. Blood on it has been identified as Mr. Mason's. Yep. Blood sample portfolio has been updated. Okay. Have a quick look at this then. We still don't know what that one is. Know that this one belongs to Thrice-Fired Mason. Like, it would seem like this would be Herlock's blood, but again, I think the bullet didn't actually pass through him. I think he needed surgery to remove the bullets, and I think they only fired one shot. Does it mention over here? No. Okay. Have anything else to say here? No, you're done with that. It is now boring. Stance fighter. Ah, okay. Transformation moves. Okay. Let's move into the back, shall we? We haven't had a look here yet. Storeroom where pawned items are kept until they're redeemed or forfeited. Also where Mr. Windybank's body was discovered. Yeah, we could indeed linger here for a little. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windybank's life was taken in this very room only last night. Oh! Oh wait! Inspector! What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away! You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me. You were running away from a 10-year-old. I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Huh? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? I don't think that went very well. Why? Bruh. Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine. I told you not to get under my feet. And we have investigating to do ourselves. Yes, I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say. Oh, early. And inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. Alright. So we will have a talk with him. Check out the spike first, though. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them. Can't believe how many there are. Bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look. Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here together. This is remarkably tidy, I have to say. Look at all this floor space. You can fit way more things in here, Mr. Windybank. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. Not much I can do about that, Sunshine. Let's talk with him first. Actually, let's present stuff first. Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion about this, do you think? We don't tend to share, Sunshine. Not with the general public. In that case, Gregsy, how about some herbal tea? Lovely. Ta very much. Oh, that really hit the spot, your ladyship. Don't mind sharing that then. Right. Yeah, we did actually cover that one before. Inspector, what do you make of this? Oh, what have we here then? Redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, that's the ticket for Miss McGilded's overcoat. One that little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually no, it's not. Really? Think you know better than me, do you? No, I didn't mean to, Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket. Oh, of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So, what's all this about then, if I might be so bold as to ask? This is a second ticket. A second one? It seems that Mr. McGilded in fact had another article in storage here at Windybanks. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Naruhodo. Oh, good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. Alright, so we've got the second redemption ticket available as a conversation topic now. Yep, article deposited, one small box. Whereas this one over here was the overcoat. 13th February, 10:30. 9 p.m. Gotcha. Okay. What do you have to say about the blood samples? If anything, no. I'll show you the original ticket as well, in case you got something more to add. Nope. Okay. It was just the the second one. With a small box. Okay. Now let's examine a few more things here. We've got a big red box here. Out of all the articles in this storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. Ah! What is it, Iris? That's the box file my manuscript was being kept in. Oh! Iris's unpublished story. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. You must check inside the box at once. Yes. Ah! It was there! Iris's story was there! Really? It was? Yeah, I mean, The Hound of the Baskervilles is one of the most well-known Sherlock stories, if I'm not mistaken. At least well-known enough for me to know the name. The Sherlock books are something that is on my big list of things to read. I'll read them one day, maybe. Are the Sherlock books out of copyright? If so, it might be possible that I can do like reading streams of them. Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris? Get an audiobook. Yeah. Like, honestly, like there are... I'm fairly sure I've got like Sherlock Holmes audiobooks either on my wish list or I bought them on sale or something like that. Like a big sort of like collection of them. Is that in there? You can go ahead and check that if you want. Did I buy Sherlock audiobooks? No, I bought The Murder on the Orient Express. That's what I bought. Okay. I haven't read that yet either. Okay. Yes, I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he'd deposited it here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it. Really? That's not a very well-hidden frown. Okay. Manuscript has been entered into the court record. Long, unpublished story that Mr. Sholmes deposited at the pawnbroker, Hound of the Baskervilles. Let's have a look at that, shall we? The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Susato-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait till she's ready to explain it to me. Out of a total of 56 short stories and 4 novels, a final 10 stories that Doyle published between 23 and 27 are still in copyright. Okay, I was gonna say, like, US copyright doesn't apply for me, but, like, a whole bunch of trade deals mean that the US basically forces other countries to sign their, like, burdensome and onerous copyright laws. I'd have to check Australian, I guess. I'm so sorry. Okay. Is there anything else we can look at here? Seem like it. Wonder. This will become relevant later, obviously, but not quite sure yet what it would be. Okay. What else do we have? We've got the gun over there and the blood. This is a revolver, a real one, and quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windybank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. I would assume that I would have to follow Australian copyright laws. Assumedly. It's possible that... copyright law is complicated. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windybank with this yesterday, didn't we? I shall have to take my own life. How many bullets are in the gun? Because Mr. Windybank said that he only loads it with one bullet to take his own life, to honorably kill himself and commit Sudoku if he fails. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. And honestly, I wouldn't take the advice of random people in chat anyway. That's like going to Reddit and sort of like asking for legal advice there. The only valid legal advice is talk to a lawyer. Mr. Windybank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired. I would trust Kuro about that because Kuro actually has been to law school, but I'm not going to ask Kuro to do that just out of curiosity, because Kuro is busy. So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Okay. Police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Poor Mr. Windybank. He was a nice old man. Well, he was shot just once through the heart. Most likely the fellow died instantly. Wouldn't have felt a thing. I was just curious about the copyright status of the Sherlock Holmes novels in Australia, and whether you'd be sort of like fine, like broadcasting like a reading of them, or if that would be considered like, what is it, like waiving sort of copyright by like if they're available free online, then it should be fine, right? I don't know. Copyright law is weird. Wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood, then. Because yeah, I wasn't able to do the light novels, because obviously, like, I need to get permission from the publishers in order to read light novels. Okay. I don't like to ask at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. Alright, what colour have we here? Blue! So, now we know the colour the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windybank's blood. And it doesn't match our analysis of the bloodstain we found in the main shop. Might need to get permission from those who own the copyright. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway. Okay, sample collected. It's alright, the police are here. They allowed it. Iris? Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely. And I'm not sure what our forensic criminology was like at the time. But we're here officially, and there's a police officer sort of like overseeing it at the very least. All right, let's go talk with him actually. Well, let me yeah, so we've got Pop Windybank blue, Rice-Fired Mason purple, like I would assume Sherlock, a Herlock, but whatever. That sounds about right, Rel. Alright. Scene of the crime. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Sure. You got eyes, haven't you? Use them. Here's what it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less.
Iris, could you lend me a hand? So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Oh yes, your ladyship. Do allow me to humbly explain. Last night at shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door to the storeroom was found locked from the inside.
So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing?
Quite right, man, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in, as humbly as possible.
Oh!
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child.
Are you talking about Guinea? She's my friend, you know, Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl, was called up on the floor, dead to the world.
She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious.
And I'm afraid to say, she had the gun that was used in her hand.
Oh. Presumably, it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now.
In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well.
What? The key to the storeroom? And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector?
Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's all some sort of misunderstanding.
Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. How's Sholmes going? Regsy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he?
The thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector. Please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is...
No, the operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well,
Out with it!
yes, ma'am. I use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive.
The whole body anesthetized? Is that even possible?
It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
Goodness. In the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. Now the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently.
Oh my.
No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in his system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again.
Hurley.
The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you.
What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. And the second redemption ticket. Let's talk about this and find out about that box. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGildered's overcoat.
You mean to tell me?
Yes. There was more than just the music box disc, it seems.
I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windybank.
Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue.
Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles, I will. I'll go barking.
This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. I think they were talking about it earlier, Rel. I think Holmes had some substances in his system that were interfering with the anesthetic. What substances those were conveniently left out. But we all know about Holmes's habits, don't we?
That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption's deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. Yeah, and it sounds like they adjusted for it. They eventually got him under. And anesthetic's still pretty new, so he's probably learning on the job. So the small box will no longer be in here then.
That's right. It's been forfeited.
Which means it could be on the shelves in front of the shop, where the forfeited items are up for sale. Yes! The shelves in the front. We must search them at once.
You're wasting your time.
Oh?
There are dozens of little boxes out there. Hundreds even.
Can't
possibly know which one might have been McGilder's. That information's not written in the ledger. We're a modern pawn shop, it'd be fairly easy to find, actually. Every item is individually labeled, and you can cross-reference that number on a computer system in order to find out who it belonged to. You'll also be able to find its whether it's been sold or not, too. Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case. Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Oh, there go the clocks. Ah! I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windybank set such a wicked trap? I doubt he set out to scare anyone. Speaking of, we need to look at those cameras that Windybank's got set up. We need to look at those. It's possible they might have caught something. Possible. If we got lucky in the 30-minute intervals that they take photos. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh? Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Bruno? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Really? Did I say that? Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. Well, in that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. Do we not have a box that we could find? Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by their original owners are offered for sale. That's right. All got little price tags on them, but there are so many. I wonder if the small box this ticket was, or is still on the shelf somewhere. The box that McGilder deposited here just over 2 months ago. Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. There are so many boxes. Could be any one of them. Mr. Sholmes said that a pawnbroker is the safest place to store anything. More secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps this small box of Mr. McGilder contains something of very great value. Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked. So then, you need to find every box with a lock and break them all open. Yeah! That sort of misconduct would get you arrested. I won't let that happen. This takes me back. It's been some time since Suzato-san last threw me. Okay. Alright, let's head off, shall we? Or Mr. Windybank. What if we head over to the hospital? Nah, still, he's, still not here, apparently. I thought he might be unconscious in the bed or something. Oh well. Alright. Prison! 16th of April, 5:41 PM, local prison, cell 13. Gina. Good. You're back.
police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Eh? Oh, didn't bother me. Ah, thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant you were able to investigate at Windybanks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we've got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying. I did it. That's not... I mean, we found a lot of circumstantial evidence and hearsay. Those are kinds of evidence. Gina, we came to ask for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. Worry is just so hard to bear. Want to read the story? Found this in Mr. Windybank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. Ah! Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windybanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night? Eh? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Ah! Why don't you tell us what happened? Please. Mm-hmm. Do you see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Windybanks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're wearing now. Hmm? What, that? I don't know. All look the same to me, those tickets. Surely not. Well, this one has a very obvious mark on it. That would appear to be blood. Yeah? Does that ring any bells? I don't know. All looks the same to me, blood. And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Sus! Seems she's not interested in the blood samples. Yeah, okay. Want the papers? Gina? I'd like to thank you for signing these papers. You want to thank me? Do it once you've got me off hook? Alright then. So you do want me to represent you then? Wait, what? Shouldn't she be thanking me then? You know what, Mr. Naruhodo? Ain't good manners to expect thanks if you do someone a favor. I know that! Oh, she's as tricky with words as she is with her fingers. Okay. Let's have a proper old talk with her then. What we've uncovered, representation in court, and the manuscript. Oh, alright then. Blimey! Give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. Come on then, fill us in. We've done it. Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet. Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Alright, you're making me go get a drink. Okay, give me a second, I'll go top up my drink because I finished it. You remember when I went to go get a drink? And then I came back? I drank it all. I'll go get another drink, okay? And stretch. All of you stretch as well, okay? Give me a second. Alright, and pat the cat. No worries. All right, let's all stretch. Thanks, Rel. I do appreciate it. Got your drinking quota for the evening out of the way earlier. All right, good to hear. All right, let's do some stretches. Back and forth. Okay. There we go. Alright. And obviously, do my best to sit up straight in this busted chair of mine that I am surprised hasn't completely broken yet. Okay. Well, for example, the reason for you being in there in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windy Banks that night. We already have the representation papers and other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Yeah, basically I have to balance really good on my chair, otherwise it'll tilt horribly. It doesn't lock anymore, and it's just barely hanging in there. I'm hoping that I will receive my new chair sometime early next month, but we'll see what happens. Nah, don't bother. Guinea? Rip them up and chuck them, would you? Them representation papers, or whatever they're called? This ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So, What will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. Alright, let's talk about the manuscript. This might get through to her. Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story. It's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes. At least £5,000. What? So, you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you? No, Guinea. How could you? What? Wait! No, hang on! Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the mantle script, or whatever you call it, what really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris's sake. Isn't that right? Ah. We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Guinea. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before. Alright, see you later, Kuro. They're wrapping up soon anyway. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, a lot of them. Just ain't realized it yet. Dots. I'm telling ya, that mantle script ain't at Windy Banks. You'd soon see if you had a look. Dots. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Dots. Oh, Guinea. That was so sweet of you. Alright, alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. Ain't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. Just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest? If he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windy Banks? Like I told you the night before, I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me, anyway. Last night, when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories. About Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Guinea. Yes. And we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I hate all this chummy nonsense. You hear me? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. If you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarpa. Hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. right there on both sleeves of that overcoat are some very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. We want to present the blood samples. Those stains on the sleeve of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood, Mr. Naruhodo? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So, could it be blood that spattered from Mr. Windybank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Eh? Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Guinea. I'm going to shoot. Purple, huh? Purple is the color of Thrice Fired. Oh. Oh my. What the? Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course. The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Don't move, I'm going to shoot. Well, I mean, it could be like someone holding out a camera and like, don't move, I'm going to shoot, so that they can get a good picture. Yes, now, let's see. Who had the purple blood? Aha! Yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. I knew it. What are you all on about? The victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the Omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half the story! Oh, we're talking with Susato now, are we? Found at the Baskervilles, Iris's unpublished work. Yes, so Mr. Sholmes was telling us all the truth. He did indeed deposit it for safekeeping with Mr. Windybank. True, but then, that still leaves the... Yep, how she knew this full title. I haven't read it myself, of course. No. I've realized I spoke carelessly last night. It was a dreadful mistake. I know that you must have your reasons for not telling us anymore. So sorry. Yep. About this? Yeah. Want more time to examine? Yep. This one document could be the key to Gina's fate. You must fight tooth and nail for her freedom. Tooth and nail. You're very passionate about it, I see. Not that I don't understand that. But you know, I was surprised to see how neatly Guinea signed her name. Oh! You wouldn't have expected it from an orphaned East End pickpocket, would you? Well, this is Great Britain, with a wonderful education system. Wait a minute. It was written with a fude brush. And by a very skilled hand. Ah! It was you who wrote it, wasn't it? Oh dear. Gina was insistent, so I couldn't refuse.
Okay. Truth of the omnibus case.
We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. No. If that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. That laugh. Oh, Willy Wonka. Mr. Naruhodo. That horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. I mean, I did, agree with the prosecutor that something seemed sus, let's be real. How could I have let that happen? Bruno? Did you believe him, though?
And yeah, first aid, I can totally see that sort of making, getting blood over him like that. I do agree, Rel. There are certainly ways to explain it. He'd mention that he got blood all over him, and I suppose the police at the time, remember this, he didn't have blood all over him at the time. Why? Because he had that coat put into the pawnbrokers. So either way, that is sort of like hiding and concealing stuff. So yeah.
Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? I believed, or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon. As a lawyer, you are required to defend your client to the best of your ability. A weapon. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama? Listen, Ryunosuke.
It is obstruction, certainly. And the knife had his initial on it. And the guy was late on debts. Like, whether it would pass beyond all reasonable doubt is the question, I guess. But yeah. That would certainly make people sus, I imagine. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you unwaveringly. What's funny, Gina? Poor. Sounds like in this empire of Japan that you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on. Look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes. I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learnt your lesson now, huh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all now, Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I trust her. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Eh? Are you half-baked? Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo, didn't you hear all what I said before? I'm a born liar. Dibs just trip off me tongue. I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you in all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina, I do understand why you chose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. Eh? It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience, but I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What? What do you expect me to say to that? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now, after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastern law, I don't know what you are. I don't get you. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out all right in the end, I think. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Herlock? Miss Susato? Somebody is there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody wasn't there before. What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Oh. I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Gregsy! Oh, dear me, I am most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in on our conversation? Good grief, listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived. This very minute. Not a moment earlier. That's all it is. Nothing untoward. Nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio. All the best. Bye, and bye. Biff, and Bob's your uncle. That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them are appropriate for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish, Lord Strongheart will, well... Emergency? Lord Strongheart? Nothing. Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off. Alright, Gregsy, if you have to. But let's chat soon. Delighted. Charmed. Can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, and, not one of them sounded sincere. I like Gregsy. Gregsy's so funny. He says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Miss Susato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. And so, our investigation came to an end. Susato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Susato-san would be leaving. Leaving Britain
and making her way back to Japan. April 16th, 11:13 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Naruhodo-san? It's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Susato-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Sholmes was shot before our eyes. Gina was arrested. All on the back of the news that her father had fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task? Alright. We've got all this dialogue over here. But I think we'll save that for tomorrow. Not next week, not tomorrow. Yeah, because we have slightly gone over time. I kind of thought things were wrapping up, but it looks like there's one last thing to go. So, yeah, let's save again. Why not? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so we'll finish things off on Monday next week, I think. So, tomorrow is going to be my day off, and on the weekend we'll be doing more Mass Effect, alright? So hopefully I'll be able to see people there for that. Okay, now we are going to go and raid someone now, and I'm gonna go raid Ty, who is doing his 24-hour fundraising stream and currently playing Skyward Sword. So it'll be nice to go check in over there and provide support, whether financially or just sort of like paying attention to the stream and like saying hello and supporting them, because 24 hours is a long time to stream for. It's not something that I plan to do or anything like that. Okay, so thank you very much, and hope to see you all next time, alright? See ya!